This is the General Settings page. And on the General Settings page, we can first select which line we want to affect the settings on. Next, we can choose how to describe that line. In this case, we can just simply put that it's for the WXY company. Then we can choose an operator extension. By default it's 0, but we can make another one an operator extension instead. And we do have these help question marks, so you can always check what a field is by hovering over it. The administrative PIN, used when accessing menus over the phone. And whether or not to enable our virtual PBX or turn it into a toll-free number without it. And we'll come back to this in just a second. Whether or not we want to accept calls from payphones, as there is an additional charge per call for payphone calls. Then we can choose our options for the email format for notification, don't send a message, attach as WAV file, send a short message for fax. We can also choose how to display the caller ID of numbers of callers that are calling into us. We can block it, display their caller ID if it's available, display your own toll-free or local number, or we can prefix the caller's number with a 1 or a 0, which is useful for letting you know that somebody's calling you through your PBX. This controls how many digits your extension numbers are, and this option tells us how many times that a caller can try at the main menu, either by not entering an extension or entering an incorrect extension before they're sent to the operator extension. When we're done with this page, we can hit Save Changes, or if we want to reset it, click here. But first, let's go back to whether or not we want to enable the PBX. When your PBX is enabled, callers will hear your main greeting and then we'll have the option to input extensions if available. But if we want to remove that PBX option temporarily and turn it into just a regular toll-free line, we can go ahead and click Disabled, which then brings up a few more options. Here we have the call hunt. We can enable or disable it. Let's enable that for a moment and have a look at that. On the call hunt page, we can put in several ringtone numbers. Let's add one more so I can demonstrate. And when a caller calls, the call will be routed sequentially to each of these agents depending on the time and day. Let me give you an example. If a caller calls your toll-free number or local number on Monday, then Agent 1 would first get the call for 3 rings, and then it would go to the next agent, number 2, as he's available, for 3 rings, and then the call would go to voicemail if it's available, or hang up. The same applies on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, only Agent 1 and 3 are available, so the call, if between these times, would first go to Agent 1 for 3 rings, then Agent 3 for 2 rings, and then go to voicemail or hang up. Thursday and Friday and Saturday, all the calls would go to Agent 1 and voicemail and hang up after 3 rings. On Sunday, simply to Agent number 2. Let's save those settings. Which brings us back to our General Settings page. Again, when you're all done with this page, you can click Save Changes or Reset to go back to the original options.